Welcome back to the Wall Hawk Insider with Coach Craig Slaughter, brought to you by Texas Bank. I'm Russ Howard. Coach, let's talk Jim Ned. But before we talk the good stuff, let's talk the bad stuff, because I know we don't normally have a lot. I think in this one we have a little bit. That first quarter and a half, I think this year has been probably, I'll just say it, the worst quarter of football for the Wall Hawk this year.
No, it was, and it. I mean, well, it was offensively, but
Let's talk about that later.
We talked in pregame with the kids, like a lot of teams are going to be able to stay with us for a series or two, but it's when we keep putting out, those fresh bodies and all those quality athletes and stuff, can people keep doing it, all throughout the game? Yeah. But the number one thing was just, man, we just uncharacteristically dropped a few passes and we talked Saturday at film, like they've spoiled us, like we're used to them catching anything, covered, contested, you name it. So, I mean, of course, we dropped a couple that, we shouldn't have put on the, shouldn't have dropped. And we dropped a couple that were kind of 50-50 balls that, again, we just kind of gotten used to us catching all those. So, the first time that we weren't, just we kind of sputtered just a little bit there before we got it rolling.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So, that defense, I know we talked in the preseason coaches special, we talked about last year you thought the defense was going to have to carry you for the first few games while the offense got on track. This year we talked about, well, there's a lot of new starters on the D side of the ball. O's going to have to carry. This game, that defense really stood up in that first half. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, no, possession after possession, including, maybe you'll advise, I went for it there about the 50, and that cost us the field position. But those kids, again, I've been asked a lot, about the rebuild and things. Man, hey, it's pretty smooth rebuild when you have a bunch of awesome players, because that's such a big part of that equation. And some of those names that now that maybe 3 weeks ago you didn't, there's some playing jacks over there, and insane proud. We were talking again Saturday at film, like, man, D-line, linebacker, secondary, just that was a very solid, complete game. I mean, just they had one, I think, 23-yard running catch or something. Just we gave virtually no plays over 10 yards, had another big goal line stand, I absolutely love how they're playing. And told the kids, I really thought I was happy before that game with where we were at, coming out of that game, hey, you talk about raising the bar, but they've really, I think, found that level, and I'm hoping we stay there.
Yeah. You mentioned that goal line stand, another game, another goal line stand. That's becoming kind of a hallmark now.
Hey, we do. I'm proud of it because we work that every Tuesday, but some years you may run goal line 5 times a year. It doesn't work out, that you get to get in that, in that goal line short yardage defense. Well, this is 2 weeks in a row, because that's something hard to work at practice live, because that is absolutely man on man.
Yep.
We don't work on it full live, so working on it Friday night against an opponent, that's as good a work as you'll get. And
yeah.
I'm really proud of them.
It's just amazing to me to get down there. It's almost, I hate to say it's a given, but when any offense gets inside the 5, it's going to be at least 3. In this case, 2 weeks in a row, nothing, 0.
Yeah, no, I was going to be upset when that ball got deflected and that lineman caught it. I thought, if this is the first score we're going to give up, I mean, I was glad to say, I think it was Sisson that actually made the tackle. But no, that was another great stop. We're really proud of those guys.
So held the Indians to under 200 yards, if I had the math right, to under 200 yards. Just an outstanding performance.
No, I mean, again, just all those pieces working together, D-line, run, fitting linebackers. We had a really great night tackling. Jacob Braden had 10 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, and a sack. That's a really great night. We played base defense good. We stunted, in that second half a lot more, and it was just, a complete performance for sure.
Couple of sacks, one from Braden and one from Dylan Sellers. They were on the highlights. You could see they were all over the field. That front 7 was just doing an outstanding job, and on the back end, the secondary just blanketing those receivers.
Yeah, like I said, man, it's a lot of really quality athletes, good players that give them a scheme, let them be aggressive, and they'll make you look smart.
Yep. Let's transition to special teams for a moment.
Oh,
dude, I tell you what, that young man at kicker, that 41-yard field goal, if you go back and listen to what I said, and I'm going to put that on the highlights because I said he's getting on the highlights this week. What a kick.
Oh,
yeah, it was.
Hey, credit to him. On Thursdays, we'll always do like a kill the ball, run the team out there, so that was a little less chaotic because it was, the clock wasn't running and things like that. But it was a weird situation because, to be honest, if it's 4th and 10, we probably like our chances. That was like a 4th and 22 or something from the 24, whatever it was. And Coach Holster, special teams guy, was like, "What do you think?" He said, "Let's give it a go." And TK stepped up there and just punched that thing right down the heart. That was impressive. And that was the field goal lift. Those kids, that sideline responded. That was a great play.
You can see that on film.
Oh no! And again, that whole sideline just came alive. Maybe breathed a sigh of fresh air because we kind of got a little separation there or something. But no, dude, that was a huge play.
Yeah, and I'll say this now because there's no game going on, but because I don't ever want to say it during the game, that announcers jinx and whatnot. But now he's 7, 8 extra points.
He's 8 in a row. Yeah, 8 in a row.
So just an incredible. Struggled a little bit in that first game, but he's just really been outstanding.
Yeah, no. The field goal, the extra points, his kickoffs. And again, those kickoffs. There's some, sometimes that's a pooch left, pooch right, and you're expected to put that in a certain part of the field because that's where the coverage is going to be. And some of those things that people may not see, he's doing that incredible as well.
Right. So let's transition over to offense. First quarter and a half, just seemed kind of disjointed. I think that's the word I used on the air. Disjointed and I saw a couple of throws by Landon that were a little bit off target. Very unusual.
Yeah.
So on the sideline, what was going through your mind?
I knew, one, defensively, I felt in pretty good control. I knew they weren't going to get away from us. I was hoping they wouldn't take the lead, but I knew those coaches and kids, would get it going. We just needed some of those positive plays to happen. And when they did, of course, that special teams was huge because we, it was actually a bad punt snap, which helped us, but that, they kind of gifted us 10 points there before, not gifted, we had to go finish it.
Right.
But it definitely wasn't a 75-yard field you had to go down and stuff. But, I knew, and there was definitely a little frustration, coaches and kids, because you're not used to that. On a positive, the one good thing, we got to play for 4 quarters, and that's because I'm not sure how much that's going to happen for us at times, just because, there's so much talent on that football team. But, we got to play a 4-quarter game, and that was a bonus for us.
So Landon York, just doing great things again. Completion percentage a little bit off because that first half, but still 3 more touchdowns. And then, of course, Brady Neal, I was hoping he was going to get that 100 yards. Yeah, 96 yards. Just couldn't get that last few yards.
The second half, I told him the first half, I thought he was anticipating just a little bit of contact, and which I understand, but he kind of lost balance, and I think he would start running through. In the second half, I thought he did better about, staying balanced because he did. When we were backed up, he took one of them, 20-plus yards, and another very workmanlike game, and proud of what Brady's doing for us for sure. And that old line, again, the protection was clean, the run blocking, was pretty solid, and again, just proud of those guys.
Going back to that run, I believe it was after that goal line stand.
Yes.
You're on the 1-yard line, 2-yard line, and he breaks. Just a simple dive play, I guess, and he just broke it loose and took it.
Yeah, it was actually a counter. And they blocked great. That's where the coaches were frustrated. But that was a 97-yard drive that didn't score. It doesn't happen much, but it totally took control of the game. And in theory, ended the game because now it's a 3-possession game. They're 95 yards away with 8 to go or whatever it was. So again, that was a monster drive. You really just want a first down or 2 to give your defense some room. And those guys took. I think they got 6 first downs that drive, that's impressive.
Right. And then of course outside, Reed Robertson still doing Reed Robertson things. That's got to become my thing with him. And then Kellen Oliver had a great game as well. The touchdown.
That hero play was an incredible play. I didn't have the best view of it, because it was on this sideline. But
right.
Man, I've seen some highlights on the internet that was that was just one of those beast mode plays that was impressive.
And he obviously he had to run around and catch the ball, but Landon.
Oh, that was very contested goal and catch.
Yeah, he just laid that out.
Yeah, Landon had to work he climbed in the pocket.
Yeah.
And again, Kellen had enough window there, but that was a good throw, off platform that Kellen took and then, did something with it after the catch too.
Right. So and then Hagan Barbie, Evan Bailey. Evan Bailey had a couple of drops that, he could have put it in the tank and said, well, I'm just going to have a meltdown, but he came right back that second half, had a good game.
We're all working on those kids on just, stay in the flow of the game. Again, that ball will find you. And again, those kids, I definitely think Friday for all of us was a little bit of learning that, they got coaches too. They got good players too. There's going to be times that, it's not quite as smooth as you want. And again, that may happen to us this week defensively. I hope not. But it's just you keep putting good plays in. Hopefully, you keep trying to get the right kids in space to make plays. And again, those dudes are winners, and they're going to make those plays.
Yeah. So, I looked at the final score and I thought, was it really a shutout? Because it just didn't seem like it was. It seemed a lot closer than 24-0. So I don't know what you thought, but I was like,
if we would have punched that last, or not the last one, but that super long drive in where it's 30, I really think you feel better. But again, we were talking to the coach's office. It may be a positive that, we've had a little, like today, we did something we don't normally do. We kind of turned the tempo up, and the intensity of, we kind of went against the defense a little more today. And I just wanted Landon and those receivers throwing and catching, in a crowd. So, we don't do a lot of that, but, today we definitely got after some, and just trying to, I just want to raise their comfort level with throwing with kind of a muddy pocket, when getting the ball out on time, and catching with somebody in your area code. So, we were just kind of changing that today.
Yeah. So great game, 24-0, first shutout of the year. I guess a decent, you can say they're rebuilding, but still a decent Jim Ned team. A lot of talent on that team.
Oh, no, yeah, those guys definitely, I thought, competed like as good as they could. They had some very quality players that, I thought we did a great job again, making stop after stop, and, just proud. Anytime you get a shutout, you're excited again. If I know the office, the coach felt how if we won 70-68, I would feel like, dang, I wish I would have done more. I know those guys, they feel like they left some meat on the bone, but again, that's, as coaches, as kids, you're all, it motivates, and let's keep working.
Right. So, to close out this segment, really the first challenge I think that this team has faced all year was that game against.
Oh, I agree. And that's what, adversity is it's your friend, because you're gonna deal with it. It's sport. It's competitive sport, and there's variables there that aren't in play between penalties, drops, poor defense, whatever it is, poor tackling, poor special teams. There's things that you deal with on a weekly basis. And again, I thought our kids, we kind of dealt with. We just weren't quite as sharp as we normally are. And let's back to what got us how we were, and let's go to work.
Right. Well, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about Monahans. You can check out the highlights, all the highlights from the Jim Ned game this past Friday. We'll come back after this on the Wall Hawk Insider with Coach Craig Slaughter, brought to you by Texas Bank.
At Texas Bank, we believe in the power of relationships. Our roots are our customers, the lifeblood of our business. We're more than just a bank. We're your trusted financial partner, committed to building lasting connections and providing personalized service that exceeds your expectations. From helping you achieve your financial goals to supporting you through life's changes, we're here for you every step of the way. Experience the difference of banking with people who truly care.
So now, second down from the 9, and now a fake toss. Reed Robertson doing Reed Robertson things. Touchdown, Wall Hawks. So there you go. After a drop in the end zone by Evan Bailey, Reed Robertson comes back. It's normally a fade route. This time he runs a little snap back. The kick is up, and it's going to be good. Tyler Kleinsmith, you have yourself a 41-yard field goal, young man. I am so proud of Tyler Kleinsmith. After struggling in that first game with some extra points, that young man just hit himself a 41-yard field goal. Have yourself a highlight. We're going to put that on the coach's show this week. Yes, we are. Takes the snap, he retreats, looks to the far side, now pumps, now pulls back, now throws. Hagan Barbie, touchdown, Wall Hawks. He just waited for Hagan to clear across that end zone and just hits him, laid it perfectly in there. Hagan Barbie. 28-yard line of Jim Ned, Landon York. Quick drop. Now he's going to tuck it away. He's going to run. Now he's going to toss it across the middle. Catching it is Kellen Oliver. Kellen Oliver, he breaks a tackle. Did he get in that end zone? Touchdown, Kellen Oliver. My goodness gracious. What a run. I thought he was out of bounds at the 7-yard line. He just kept fighting, puts his hand down, and fights his way into the end zone. That's an Alpha Paving touchdown. We got to see this on the Postal Annex instant replay. York gets it in between two defenders. Oliver catches it, turns upfield. He's caught at the 7-yard line, breaks the tackle. It looks like he goes out of bounds. He keeps fighting, and then just...
Friendship being
Welcome back to the Wall Hawk Insider with Coach Craig Slaughter. I'm Russ Howard, and it's brought to you by Texas Bank. Coach, we've covered all last week. We've watched the highlights. Talk to me about Monahans. Your thoughts on this upcoming game?
You know, it's one that you want to go play just a cleaner game because we know we're capable of it. You know, we're very grateful. We're healthy. You know, we're got one more long road trip in front of us before the schedule kind of evens out. But you know, it's I know offensively those guys are excited and ready. Let's go get back on the field because we know there's another level we can play at.
So Monahans, if you know, stats can lie to you and records can lie to you. Monahans 0-3 on the season. Have been beaten pretty handily in all 3 games. Is that a danger to go up against a team like that that's hungry?
Oh, for sure. You know, those guys are chomping at the bit, you know, for a win. And again, you know, back at home and, you know, you've got a 3-hour bus ride. I tell you what, you know, the first game of the year was Shallow Water, which is a very solid 3 Division I program. When we talked about it on film today with the kids, it was 21-6. The first play of the fourth quarter was 4th and goal at the 1. And Monahans was about to make it 21-14. Well, they got stopped. Anyway, it ended up, you know, a drive, and it made it 28-6. But like that game in Shallow Water, I think is pretty comparable to us. You know, they're a strong program. Their other 2, man, Canyon West Plains, that's your 4A power, you know, and then last week was Lubbock Liberty, which last year, that's one of those weird games. They're at that new school. They didn't have seniors, well, this year, those juniors and sophomores going to be juniors and seniors, so it's been a really weird schedule for those guys, but I do think it's 3 quality opponents. Now, again, as a coach, you would love to, I know, to play them tougher than that at times, but it's 3 quality opponents for sure.
All right. So we have never talked about this on the Coach's Show, but let's talk state rankings for just a moment. You guys moved up to number 2 in the state. If I saw that, yeah, no, I just saw that Wall moved, because I believe it was who was 2 before, because y'all have been 3 all year. Was it?
I would think it was Tidehaven or Gunner, but
Gunner.
And Gunner lost to Salina.
Yeah, Gunner took the loss. So
that's no shame in
so,
that loss.
I know. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but how important in this early in the season are polls to you?
I mean, 0. And the kids know. Like, to be honest, we don't even talk about it. It's. We're going to play it out, and again, actually, before we took the field at Brownwood, I told the kids, like, this is where I don't like about preseason rankings. Half of that is you're standing on the shoulders of last year's team,
right?
And that's just facts, and now later in the year, I think it's more about your resume, because those teams will sort themselves out, by the schedule they play. So later in the year, I mean, it's never, hey, we're ranked, whatever, here we come, because it's just motivating, I think, for the other team, but, again, later in the year, you're proud of it, because I think it means that there's something attached to it, but we're gonna work to prepare this. We're gonna work to prepare. I told the kids, like, I held it up today, work like we suck, and that's truly, and they were all reading it as I walked by. It's just that's our motto, and we have way bigger goals than win this Friday, but we want to play well and get better and improve things, because we know there's some big games in our future.
Right. Really, really like what I see from this Wallhawk team. I mean, I really do. I watched them all last year. Watched the first 3 games. Obviously, been there, called them. I really like the way this team has come together. I mean, after last year, there's always that fear: is there going to be a letdown, coming off a high, whatever? But they've really buckled down and really, absent that quarter and a half, just great play.
And really credit to our seniors, because some teams I would worry about the ranking. I would worry about the hype, man, we were so close, and last year, it's motivating for me. It's motivating for that locker room. Not one time have I really even mentioned, we are mission focused, and, we are doing all we can to get better. The first time that opponent is in front of us, where that fear is real, your season can end, in these, because at the start of the year, you're just trying to turn that positive vibe you got into what we're in the process of turning it into. And again, I always hope the kids get tons of credit. They deserve all of it. They're amazing young men that are talented, and they just already gained 4. It's just crazy how fast it goes by. I just want to make sure those guys are tuned in and playing hot. When it matters the most.
Well, I'm gonna put this on video right now. If Wall makes it to that state championship game, I don't like to travel very much, but I'm going to plop my behind down at Jerry World. I'm going to be wearing Wallhawk gear. I'm going to be the biggest fan in those stands at Jerry World. I'll tell you right now.
It's funny, my state story, I went and watched Wall in 2013. And I knew, the Wall staff, a lot of them, but the game before them was Mason and Stanford, and the game, Cisco was in there somewhere. I knew all those coaching staffs. I came home and told my wife, I'm never going back unless I take my football team. I had not been back since, and it's just kind of motivating. It's just something in the back of your mind. I want to go coach in that thing, with this group of kids. So, but I have no doubt, if that happens, by God, Wall's going to turn out in full.
I'll be there. I will put Wallhawk gear on. I'll show up, and I'll be a big fan. You heard it.
I'll give you some gear if you need some.
Right on. Well, let's not worry about that. Let's worry about Monahans coming up this week. So, Coach, again, always a pleasure sitting down and talking with you. This is a highlight of my week. I really enjoyed this. I love sitting down talking football with you. But you've been watching the Hawk Insider with Coach Craig Slaughter, brought to you by Texas Bank. We thank you for watching. Don't forget, this week, it will be in Monahans, 7 p.m. Please make every effort you can to get there. If you can, it will be live streamed online on YouTube. Don't forget all that. Take care. God bless. We'll see you next time.
At Texas Bank, we believe in the power of relationships. Our roots are our customers, the lifeblood of our business. We're more than just a bank. We're your trusted financial partner, committed to building lasting connections and providing personalized service that exceeds your expectations. From helping you achieve your financial goals to supporting you through life's changes, We're here for you every step of the way. Experience the difference of banking with people who truly care.